Welcome to today's webinar, Planning for eLearning Days. My name is Mary Carnahan, and I am the eLearning Resource Specialist at the Department of Education. I'm producing today's webinar, and I'm just here for a brief introduction before I turn the mic over to today's host, who is Jennifer Watson. I've muted everybody's line as you join the meeting today. It is really important to stay muted so that we don't have background noise throughout our webinar, and especially important today because we have a large group attending the webinar. So please keep your line muted. We do encourage you to share questions and your own e-learning day ideas and experiences in the chat box. If you don't see the chat box on your screen, click on the chat bubble icon that's at the bottom of the WebEx window. If you move your cursor around, you'll see a menu of items toward the bottom of your screen, and you'll click on that little chat bubble. Once you have the chat box open, be sure to select everyone from that to drop-down. It is likely set to default either to me, Mary Carnahan, or to Jennifer Watson, who is the presenter right now. So just make sure you select everyone there. And thank you to all of you who are introducing yourselves. It's great to see where everyone is connecting from today. Two other quick notes as we get started. I am recording the webinar, and we archive all of our recorded webinars on a YouTube channel, and I'll share that link in just a moment. So you'll be able to view this webinar at a later date, or you can also share it with coworkers who might be interested. We'll also be including it on our e-learning page, our e-learning day page, which Jennifer will be sharing in a little bit. Also, we do award PGPs for attending the live webinar, so I will send those out in the next couple of days. You'll receive that PGP certificate sent to the email address that you registered for the webinar with. So you'll see that coming to your email in the next few days. And Jennifer, if you'll move on to the next slide, please. This webinar is part of our eLearning Lab webinar series. If you are interested in other webinars, keep an eye out on YouTube or on Twitter and on the eLearning Lab page, and there will be more webinars coming soon. There's also a link to the recorded webinars there on that page, and you'll see that URL right there on the screen. And be sure to follow us at INELearn and tweet using the INELearn hashtag, and also join in our weekly INELearn chats on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central. Next, Jennifer. This week we started our fall, one too far.
Oops, sorry about that.
That's okay. This week we started our fall e-learning book club. We're reading Shake Up Learning by Casey Bell, and this is a great way to get some anytime, anywhere professional development. Connect whenever you have the opportunity, whether it be early in the morning, late at night, on the weekend. Whenever you can connect with the blog is great. It is in a blog, and you'll see the URL there on the screen. And the book club will last 7 weeks. We read a couple of chapters a week. It's a pretty short book, so we're reading typically 3 or 4 chapters a week. And each week there is a blog post, a discussion question or idea, just things to think about. And then you're encouraged to comment back to that post and also to other people's comments. So it's a great professional development opportunity and a great way to connect with other educators. This is worth up to 14 PGPs. That's 2 PGPs for each week of participation. So again, if you're looking for professional development or professional growth points, the book club, we'd love to have you. And next, Jennifer. And another professional development opportunity that we have upcoming is our new, and along with that hashtag will be a chat. So INEdChat is the new hashtag that we are connecting with educators. Okay, I am trying to see if Jennifer is talking right now. So this hashtag will be used department-wide, so it will be used by all of the various divisions in the Department of Education. So we're really looking forward to having this new way to connect from the Department of Education to the field and then connect various people in the field. There will be a chat moderated by people from all different divisions of the Department of Education. That will be Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, and those chats will be starting November 6th. So watch for more information coming out about that, and be sure to follow that hashtag. And now, Jennifer, there you go. It's time to pass the mic on to Jennifer Watson. She is our Senior Digital Learning Specialist, and she's been with us for, I think, a little over a month. And she's been taking on e-learning days and looking at great ways to support schools in that. So we are excited to share information with you all, and I'm going to pass the mic on to Jennifer.
Thank you, Mary. Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here to discuss with you on how to start implementing e-learning days. I am previously from a district in Southern Indiana who implemented and started e-learning days back in 2013. And I'll tell you, there was a lot of learning that took place and still is, with continued growing and refining the process when it comes to best practices with getting e-learning days started in your district. The information I'm going to share is definitely not the be-all, end-all to implementing e-learning days, but hopefully will be helpful to you when you're planning. There are also many other corporations in Indiana doing these so well and has some great helpful tips. So if you are watching, please offer any suggestions either in the chat box, or you can email me, jwatson3@doe.in.gov, and that will also be on the last slideshow. So what are e-learning days? E-learning days actually provide districts with an option for continuing an instructional day away from a traditional time limits and in a brick and mortar setting. Students actually get to work at their own pace and in their own environment, and there's a lot of learning that can happen and take place, not just inside the classroom. So why should we use e-learning days? This is an innovative program that has evolved into an engaging instructional model used in many of our schools. To keep the sequence of learning going despite weather or other challenges, e-learning day provides teachers and students opportunities to engage with digital resources, to collaborate virtually, and to develop digital skills that are used and valued beyond. Teachers have the ability to offer learning opportunities that are usually not possible in a traditional classroom. There are differences between a planned and an inclement weather e-learning day. From doing this in a previous district, I really strongly suggest doing a planned e-learning day if it's your first time, just so your teachers and your students and parents will be prepared and know what to do during the inclement e-learning day. We want to make sure the instructions are clear and that students know how to access their assignments and that teachers have all the resources they need. So as a department, we actually made an e-learning day implementation toolkit, which is going to be located on our website. Right here we have our toolkit. We also have our best practice considerations. So in the toolkit, it tells us what an e-learning day is and how to get started. So one of our suggestions, if you're not the one, find somebody in your corporation that can be your e-learning day champion. Somebody who's going to take the lead on developing your plan. Then I would come up with a committee, possibly with a school board member, parents, teachers, administrators, instructional coaches, and any other relevant stakeholders that you feel that are needed. You come up with a plan of why for e-learning days. Why are you doing this? Professional development can be offered during these e-learning days. It's also going to help with inclement weather. And it gives non-traditional learning opportunities, like I said, for our students. So once you have your e-learning day planning committee together, we suggest looking at the best practices suggestions we came up as a department and looking at other schools. And this again will be located on our website. So you're going to look at some considerations. The logistics. How are you going to take attendance? What is the protocol in the reporting system? We have different corporations doing different things, so you'll want to find out what's going to work for you, best for you. We have some schools that the teacher, it actually calls the students. We have some where the students have to email the teacher. Some of them just go by, was the assignment submitted, and then they'll do their attendance. But have a communication plan, including a timeline to begin with that why and work to build from your stakeholders. Again, that would be your parents, the community, businesses, students, teachers, and staff, all staff. And then come up with some training plans to create professional development. To provide staff with training for e-learning day implementation first. That's what you want to teach them first, and then you can always go into other PD opportunities as you become more familiar with this. But we want to make sure that teachers and the students can utilize their learning management system. You want to know where they're posting and locating. And Wi-Fi is an issue that comes up a lot. So you might want to have some other resources and possibilities for these students. Maybe it's a public gathering place, a restaurant, library, hot spots to check out, but you also can have some of that digital content downloaded if there's no access also. You also need to have your teachers designing effective learning day lessons. So that could be possibly one of your first professional development opportunities, is what can be used as an e-learning day lesson that's going to be done to improve and refine growing with the students. Okay, let me go down a little bit further here. Get my mouse back up. So then we want to look at what the staff expectations are. What will your teachers' work hours be? Will they be available from 9 to 3 or 8 to 4, whatever that looks like for you and your staff? Also, you want to think about the non-certified staff and their responsibilities, and if they're going to get paid during these inclement weather days, or what they will do in the planned e-learning days. Begin with the planned e-learning days. It's your option to have the buildings open or closed. So students who do not have access to the internet can come in. Now, inclement weather days, that would be totally different because nobody could get to the schools. You want to look at your community partners again to decide if there's going to have Wi-Fi where they could go, and provide a list of those people so they can actually get that what they need. And then you also want to communicate with the planned e-learning dates and with the community partners so they'll know ahead of time. If it's a restaurant, say McDonald's, You don't want it to be overcrowded and them not know why. So especially if it's a smaller town. Then we look at the other key component, which is infrastructure. And again, as I said, internet access is something that comes out a lot. You can actually do a student parent at home access survey to see how many. You're going to find that there's more than what you probably realize that do have that access. Offline support. Do your teachers know any alternatives for students without internet access? We don't want this to be where you give a packet of papers to them. So maybe downloading, like I said before, materials in advance. And then again, go back and make sure everybody knows how to use that learning management system. Using it on a daily basis, and if you're already implementing blended learning, this would not be an issue at all. So as the curriculum already in the classroom is using digital resources, this is going to be more easy. It's going to be easier to you than what you think. And then is there technology support? Is there somewhere students can go or contact if they're having issues with their computers or devices? And then of course the instruction. The instruction is very important. You want to have an interaction plan. So you have to have some sort of protocol and communication. When are the teachers going to be available? Will they have office hours? Will they be available via the LMS, email? Not that the teachers need to, but I have seen so many times teachers also giving out their personal phone number for texting. Again, that was their option, and that is not something that you need to do, but it was great for them to do it for those parents who work and aren't able to help their students until that evening. Work measurement. This is something that I saw come up a lot. How much time on a task or assignment or a learning growth target should students be working on? Especially when you're in a high school or junior high setting and you have several different teachers and several different subjects, and everybody's trying to give an hour worth of work, and then the students may be working a lot longer than they would in a normal day. And that it's going to take some adjusting and getting used to. But having them know how to submit their assignments and demonstration of learning is definitely going to be on your plan. You want those lessons that your teachers give to cover content that probably would have been addressed in school or in session, just like a traditional setting, and ways to plan for monitoring quality of the e-learning day and lesson materials. Make sure you have learning targets. All students will be informed of those targets. The lesson design should include an instructional component, practice, application, and a demonstration of learning. That could be videos also the students could do. However, your teachers can be creative with that. And then again, thinking about the students with special needs and their accommodations, what should be already in their ILP or IEP or 504 plan. It helps them with assistive technology and what they will do on e-learning days. So if you could go through this and check off all the components, then you are definitely ready to go ahead with the e-learning day. And then you'll have the e-learning day toolkit, which is also going to help you come up with some ideas. And we have district examples, as you see up here. So that way you can go and look at what other districts are doing, some of their FAQs, some of how they will deal with issues as they arise. We also have some professional development resources available and some webinars on helping teachers get started, which I know that always seems to be something that's scary. We have even some evaluation program. After a while, you may need to evaluate your program and go back and try to see what needs to be fixed, what can make it better, etc. Let me look down here at some of the questions. Mary, have you been able to answer those? Have they been coming in?
Yep,
Okay, perfect.
we're good with questions.
Awesome. So again, right here on our slide deck, which is going to be available also on our website, has the 9 steps of getting started. It seems like it's going to be overwhelming, but once your faculty and your stakeholders all understand and communicated clearly and the why and how this is beneficial for students and teachers, that is the hard part. And then following this will make it so much easier for you. So as we talked about instruction, logistics, and infrastructure. And just to review real fast, make it a little bit simpler than seeing all that text up there. Logistics, you want to think about the attendance, communicating, what training, what are the staff expectations, and letting the community partners know. You want to think about student internet access, offline support, platform experience, and technology support. And then the instruction. Again, what is the interaction plan between the students and the teachers? How are you going to measure the work and continue that work, and what learning targets are going to be assessed, and what are the accommodations? That lesson should include an instructional component, practice application, and demonstration of learning. Then making sure, what is a day in the life like for our students? They're going to demonstrate their learning. They could collaborate virtually with their peers. They will be contacting their teachers, however your district decides how they're going to contact them. And this could also be an opportunity for them to pursue service learning and work experiences outside of a regular school day. And what are the teachers going to be doing? What are their expectations? Again, they are going to be monitoring the student progress. They're going to have virtual office hours where students will know exactly when they can get a hold of them. They will be able to collaborate with colleagues. You can provide them a professional development. And this also gives flexible work locations for teachers also. You can have them be able to stay at home, or it's up to you if you want them to come into the school. And then again, we have our e-learning day resources. We have our toolkit again, our best practice considerations and checklist, some guidance with students with disabilities, e-learning days helping teachers get ready, that's the webinar I was referring to, and sample lessons. And then again, a guideline sample. Here is my email if you would like to email me directly, or you can start putting some questions in the chat so that I can help answer those. And we have, again, I'll share with you the website. If you can even just Google DOE eLearning, IDOE eLearning, and that will pop up. You'll be able to look at all of our tools and resources that we are providing you to get started and to help you. As you may have already seen and heard, that there is no longer approval process from the IDOE. That is actually, the fidelity is going to remain responsibility of your school and corporation to make sure your students are getting what they need just as they would on a regular school day. And again, on the website, my email address in case you have more questions as you go through the process and need assistance. Or if there's any questions that you just want to kind of talk about. Let me look over here and see if we have any questions. So, someone asked, do you have set office hours for when you pass out extensions? Again, that is going to be up to your school corporation, what office hours you want to have your teachers. When you're having this discussion, you may need to work with your teachers union. I know that that was something in my corporation we did because of the hours. Oh, I see someone, that's a good idea too. Someone said we forward the teachers' classroom phone extensions to their cell phone so they don't have to give out their cell phone numbers. That was an excellent idea. There's also where you can do phone numbers on Google, where if you don't want to give out the personal. And yes, the video will be posted. A particular amount of time per subject that I would recommend. You usually, if you have junior high or high school, you probably have the students for about 50, 55 minutes. Not all that time is used for an actual lesson. So the lesson that you give to them to do at home doesn't necessarily need to take that long. And as we also know as educators, what might take a certain amount for one child will not be the same for another student. So that is something that, like I said, corporations who've been doing it for a while have also been struggling with, just making sure that they're getting the right amount of time. And then again, you can always figure that out from students' feedback, from parent feedback. But that's something that you continuously are going to struggle with just because students finish at different times. And there are not any limits on the amount or type of e-learning days that a corporation can have. That would actually be up to your corporation when they come out with their plan. I would suggest, from my experience, not having more than 2 or 3 inclement e-learning days back to back. Things start getting a little complicated for the students. They may get way behind. If the snow is coming or there's other issues with the weather, just having 2 days back to back is what I suggest. And then if it does become where it's like a week out of school, that time can be made up on another e-learning day. Perhaps you can do it on a day that school was going to be in session. I've seen some districts use it on Saturdays, having e-learning days as makeup days. I'm going through. So somebody asked, how can we comply with FERPA while still making sure kids get services listed in their 504 or IEP? That is a question I have not come across. I would actually need to do some more research on that, unless there's anybody out there who has. If not, Heather, I'll be glad to look into that and email you back. I'm not sure if it will actually say on this link. We'll look here. Are there any other questions or any other concerns that you're thinking about? Okay, again, having all these resources for you will hopefully make it a little bit easier as you plan for your e-learning day. Between the best practices checklist and the e-learning day toolkit, I hope that helps you. Um, Reaching out to other districts and seeing what they're doing, and yeah, just looking, I see some more questions coming through. Okay, so the one question came up with, as a special ed teacher, I struggle with how I help my students on those days. If I see that you're using Canvas and the teacher will upload the lesson, is that something you can possibly look over with your with the teacher and see how those students can be helped? Or again, like you suggested, even when they come back, helping them. But if you can look at it with your students before, just so they will have that practice, that's probably going to be the best way to go about that. Some e-learning idea lessons that someone asked about. I was actually thinking the other night about if I were still in the classroom, having maybe even a webinar for especially the higher level students, the high school, doing a webinar where they can chat and see a lesson. That may be an excellent idea. Video recording your lessons or your voice when they get started is always also a good idea. Showing them where to find their lessons, having maybe possibly throughout the district the teachers do it the same way. So a sibling who could be in high school may have a little brother or sister in elementary school, but if they're using the same LMS, they could probably help their siblings out, and that would be a really good idea. See, using video lessons and uploading them for the instructor. Powerful. Yes, using the video lessons and uploading them is definitely a very powerful tool. Okay. Yeah, so just kind of step and upload them. So, see, I'm curious about my students without computers. That might be something, again, you'll have to look at with your district. If you're not a school that's one-to-one with your students with computers, or if they don't have their bring your own device, maybe as a district, you can come up with some kind of plan, checking out devices. Ooh, I like what Heather said, try using a HyperDoc for your plans. And we definitely have webinar on how to use HyperDocs. So on our YouTube's channel, let me go back over here and show you guys where we can have so many resources. Well, I thought our YouTube channel was. Mary, do you have the link handy for the, oh, never mind, I see them right here. So again, on the looking for more ideas, we have We have 70 videos with ideas, even using social media with your students for e-learning day. That would be an awesome, awesome idea. Number 19, the e-learning days helping teachers get ready it goes more in depth on different kinds of lessons. And then this right here, when you're asking, I think it was Maria or Becca or Heather asking about ensuring accessibility for all. Here's another great webinar that could have some information that you're looking for. Redesigning e-learning for all learners. Another good webinar to look at. So I would suggest definitely getting out here and looking at the different webinars and different tools and resources that we're offering, reaching out to other corporations, maybe even visiting other corporations and seeing what they do. So any more questions before we wrap it up here? So again, here are some more links with resources. I want to thank you all again for joining us on this webinar. Oh yes, I love Nearpod. Nearpod is great. Thank you, Susan. I know they have a free version of that, and then of course there's always the paid version with more tools. I worked off the free version for a long time, and that was definitely a wonderful tool. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. I hope these resources that we're providing you with are helpful. And again, feel free to reach out to us with any questions. Yes, this slideshow is going to be shared. It's actually already on our website. If I can get back there. So, one of these. I guess I can just click here. That would probably be the easiest. So right here, we already have our slide deck for, so you can actually share this, Kyle, with your, here, I can just go ahead and paste it here for you. That might be make it a little bit easier. And I'll also just put the link to the page. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Mary, do you want to take over to end it?
No, I've got nothing else to share. Thank you for sharing all that information. And if you do have further questions, definitely email Jennifer, and she can put her email address there in the chat box again. She is the one who is fielding all the eLearning Day questions now. But again, since we are not approving days anymore, a lot of this is to be decided by the districts, but we're happy to share resources and also connect you with others if need be. So definitely check out the resources on the website, connect with Jennifer if need be, and good luck with your eLearning days. Hopefully we'll have a calm weather or a calm winter and won't need to use a lot of them, maybe just for some professional development. Yes, one last question. You will get an email with the PGP certificate. I will try to get those out tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Thursday. That'll be a PGP certificate sent to the email address that you registered for the webinar with. So that will be coming soon. So thank you all very much, and we will connect with you at another time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.